Gentlemen, most of what ruins a man's life doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly, through bad habits, through avoidance, through things no one ever explains to you. Debt that compounds, time that never comes back, a body that quits because the mind gave up first. So here are 15 things I wish I knew sooner. Not to sound smart, but to survive stronger, clearer, and more intentional as a man. So when I was 22, I felt like I was on top of the world. On the same day that I graduated college, I got my commission in the United States Marine Corps. In fact, I remember riding around campus on my Kawasaki Vulcan 1500 in my dress blues, feeling like Richard Gere at the end of the movie, An Officer and a Gentleman. Well, being the smart guy I was, the next day I went and traded in my motorcycle and picked up a new Chevy pickup truck. I drove that truck off the lot, only having to come up with $650 a month at 26% interest. Yeah. I had no understanding of interest rates. And for those of you that don't speak finance, a 26% interest rate is highway robbery. Seriously, I might as well have borrowed money from a loan shark. And to add insult to injury, I was so oblivious to this that I paid on this loan for a year, no problem, until one of my roommates, who was a finance major, saw the bill lying around and was like, "Are you crazy? You need to renegotiate." So I approached the bank and they wouldn't lower my interest rate. I ended up refinancing the loan at an interest rate well under 10%. But the reality is, I was underwater on that vehicle. Now, the story, you could say, had a happy ending. I ended up doubling down on my payments, paid it off early, and to this day, I still own that truck. Seriously, that truck now is almost 25 years old, and this summer, I had it sanded down and repainted. Now, in the big picture of things, all this time I wasted, all these regrets, they actually made me who I am today. So I can't say that I would go back in time and undo any of this. But there is one thing, looking back, that I would probably go back and try to undo. And that is being away from my son for the first 3 years of his life. So after I left the military, I went and lived in Ukraine for a year. My wife and I were married there and my son was born. And I realized I didn't have any great skills. So I needed to go back to school, at least I thought. And I got into the University of Texas. I scored pretty high on the GMAT, was able to make up for my horrible grades in undergrad. And I got into this great program, but I realized I'm not going to be making any money. I've got a wife and a young son, and we are going to keep you guys in Ukraine. That was what we decided. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to study hard, and I'm just going to be able to get through this 2 years, pick up my MBA, and then get a good job. Now, logically, on paper, that makes a lot of sense. But when it comes to the heart, when it comes to knowing that I missed some of the most formidable years of my son's life, you know, that's something I have to live with. I've tried to make up the time, try to spend a lot of time with him now. And I am fortunate I'm in a position where I can choose my hours. We've been able to take trips around the world, and I've been working to build that relationship. But to this day, I still wonder, we still have a pretty, a little bit of a standoffish relationship. He's very quiet around me. He's more open to his mom. And is it because I didn't spend this time around him when he was younger? I'm not going to regret this going forward, but I do these things and I'm trying to spend more experiences with him because I realize, you can't make up the time with the people you care about, with the people you love. It'll never be the wrong decision to spend, yes, maybe take a year off of your career path or starting your business. Yes, you will lose some time. Your business may not grow as big as it could have if you had put in those, that investment, but you invested in yourself, in your family, in those relationships, which I think ultimately define you as a person. Next up, I want to talk about wasting 2 years of my life in flight school chasing somebody else's dream. So here's the thing, is I got a flight contract when I entered the Marine Corps, and that was really cool, and tons of people wanted this. I had good vision, I was in good shape, I was the right size, everything was aligned, except for the fact that I really didn't want to be a pilot. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I was going along, this was a great place to be, I was getting paid, I was doing some pretty cool stuff, enjoyed the basic school, which is basic officer training. It's 6 months long, had a great time, but I didn't really have to work hard, because guess what? All of us pilots, we were going to flight school. So it didn't matter how we ranked in the whole system. It drove a lot of other people nuts. But I show up to flight school and I realized very quickly, this is not the place for me. There are all these people there that want to be in flight school. And I stuck through it for 2 years, not because I wanted to be a pilot, but I just simply didn't know what else I wanted to do. And I enjoyed kind of the party scene. I was having a great time, but I wasn't enjoying really what I was there to do. And I wish I would have had the courage to step out of that sooner. What ended ended up happening is I blew my sinuses out and I had to go in for surgery, and they said, okay, well, we can get you back in the flight program after a year of recovery. And I just opted to exit and just go to the infantry. Now, speaking of business, one thing I do regret is not starting my business sooner. So I remember being a student, we were doing all these simulations. I spent a lot of time focusing in on grades, which is good. I got great grades with my MBA program, but if I just would have started on the internet, if I just would have started there a little bit earlier, I would have been so far ahead. And that's what I recommend to any student, anyone that ever says, you know what, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, stop thinking and just get started. I remember in this one class, we were doing these computer simulations of these businesses we were starting, and we put our heart and soul into this, ended up not getting a good grade because of some stupid glitch. It was very frustrating. Point being, as I look at all the time and energy I spent on that class, I probably could have spent it actually starting a real business, because that's an amazing part in business. Whenever you take that idea and you throw it out there, and you most likely get rejected, but sometimes you get that first sale. Sometimes you get somebody that's willing to pay you for that service. And that's when you realize, wow, I've got a lot of power in my hands. I've got the ability to control my fate. It's just something it took me like 6 months after I left business school and I got fired from my first job to actually make my first dollar. And I wish I would have I started that so much sooner. Holy I am going to die. So that's pretty close to what I was telling myself when I went on my first 10-mile forced march. Now, I'd been on a 3-mile forced march. That one seemed pretty easy. I was a distance runner. The 6-mile forced march that we were warming up to, we were going to do a 30-miler, that one was hard. But the 10-miler, I thought I was going to die. For some reason, it was faster. I had gotten saddled with some extra ammunition and weight, and my gosh, we were moving quick. And this was very hard on me. For some reason, I just wasn't feeling good, and I thought I was going to die. I thought, or at least I was going to fall out. You guys know what happens when you fall out. You corpsmen, you give us the silver bullet. Anyone that doesn't know what the silver bullet is, you can be enlightened down in the comments. If you know what that is, let me know. But yes, that was something I was not looking forward to. But all I thought about is, you know what? I just need to take 5 more steps. I just need to take 10 more steps. And I started just counting. I started focusing on what's in front of me. I went to another place. And that's one of the most powerful lessons I learned in the Marine Corps, is that what your mind tells you can do is very different from what your body can actually do. Anyone that's hit the wall running a marathon, anyone that's actually pushed themselves beyond what they thought they were capable knows what I'm talking about. And until you do it, you don't realize, wow, I was able to make it. I didn't quit. I didn't fall out. I didn't embarrass myself by getting, yes, the silver bullet. But what I did do is realize, you know what? I need to stop listening to this mind and how weak it is sometimes, and just simply throw one foot in front of the other and keep going. And that is life, is that sometimes you're going to get hit so hard. You are going to get the wind knocked out of you, and you just got to pick yourself up. You know you're going to start breathing here in a couple seconds, but keep going. Don't stop. If you want to accomplish big things in life, surround yourself with like-minded warriors, men that are looking to become their best selves. And then don't be shy about going to that community with questions. My point is this, gentlemen, when you surround yourself with competent people that not only have knowledge, but also experience, guess what? They're able to shine the light on the problems, on the things that you didn't even know were there. And with that being said, gents, if you're looking for a community of like-minded warriors looking to become their best self, men just like you, gents, I'm linking to our private group, HWP, down in the description. Go check us out if you're serious about becoming your best self. It's a group for professional, mature men looking to become their best selves. We focus in on health, wealth, and purpose. If this all sounds interesting to you, learn more by clicking on the link in the description. And remember, gents, the key here is action. Action through group and individual accountability so that you can take the steps to become the man you know yourself to be. Check out the link in the description of today's video, and I will see you in the community. Embrace the pain. An open secret in the United States Marine Corps is we are a bunch of masochists. Seriously, when I saw it for the first time in OCS, I was a bit dumbfounded. You had these prior enlisted Marines who were asking for more. Basically, they realized that the drill instructors, they kind of lost their power when you enjoyed the pain. When they were throwing stuff at you, you're like, okay, is that all you got? I want more. Now, obviously, there's a human limit to suffering, but Marines, it seemed like they're trying to find out what it is. And by doing this, they embrace the suck. They realize that, hey, if you approach this with a positive attitude, if you have fun with this, because you can't do anything about it, all of a sudden you have strength, you have power, and you've got the right set of mind to be able to deal with, yeah, you're going to have to go through the quiggly. You're going to have to go under that water. It's freezing cold. You're going to be breaking ice, and you are not going to be dry for 3 days. Well, guess what? Hey, let's all just have a party. Now, personally, why this was such a powerful lesson for me is it created the habit of seeking out challenge and not being afraid of taking a choice of going down the path that, yeah, is not cushioned, is not maybe as sexy, is definitely not going to be more comfortable, but you know where you need to go. And you just accept the fact that there is going to be pain and suffering, especially if you want to achieve something great. You want to start a business? Okay, you're going to get close to bankruptcy. Maybe you're going to go through a bankruptcy. Guess what? You'll be able to survive, as many people have. And when you embrace the pain, all of a sudden it doesn't have power over you. Now, for this next lesson, imagine that you're in this scenario. It is a laid back Sunday morning. You're in charge of the base. You are sitting there having a coffee, and all of a sudden you get a call in that somebody is shooting at the guards, and you can hear the gunfire. People are saying that they don't know where it's coming from. The guards at the back of the base are talking about it. The guards at the front entrance are talking about it, and you've got one reaction force. Where do you send them? Well, the answer is you don't just send them off right there. You calm down in the face of chaos with these incoming calls. You stop first and think. Before you commit, before you go out there and take action, before you react, you need to understand what is truly going on. So the incident I'm talking about, well, there was a celebration going on, and you've got people locally who were just shooting into the air. They weren't shooting at the guards at all. Yet, guards in various situations, they reacted. They were thinking more tactical level. And what I learned in the Marine Corps is that if you're going to be in charge, especially of a company, if you're going to be in charge of, a family, you've got people that you are looking out for who immediately chaos erupts. And who knows what the situation could be, but you've got to be calm in the storm. I'm not saying don't act, but I am saying take a few breaths. Think before you jump in, because oftentimes people react in the wrong direction. They react when actually no action was needed to be taken. They react in the wrong way. They overreact to a situation that didn't need that type of, over the kill response. Focus in on the essential. In life, there are only certain things that matter, a small percentage of things that yield you the bigger return. In fact, if you haven't heard of the Pareto principle, let me explain. The 20% that yields you the 80%, but even deeper than that, 20% of the 20%, the 4% that yields you the 64%, that's the deep Pareto principle. And this comes out of economics, but it's been shown in pretty much any industry, whether it be sales, whether it be in your family life. There are only a small number of things in life that really make the difference, that actually affect the performance, that are the things that if you don't get these things right, everything else is going to fail. Now, this next one, some of you guys may disagree with, but I think stop using drugs and alcohol. And I know, marijuana is legal in a lot of places and alcohol is legal throughout the United States, but I found that quitting and not using any of that stuff, first up, saved me a lot of money. Next up, I just feel great in the morning. There are some things I'm still kind of addicted to. Coffee, really enjoy that, although I'm looking to stop that for 30 days. Sugar, still like sugar. But alcohol, no drugs. It just really makes it easier to go through life when you're not numbing yourself. And I know that, some people, they really enjoy their drinks. They love going out socially to have drinks. You really enjoy 420, whatever it may be. Can you actually step away from it for a month? For 2 months, for 6 months? Just do you have the willpower? Do you have the ability? Because if you don't, then maybe it is something that you want to consider, breaking up that relationship, finding a way to be able to become independent of it. This next one, very simple, very practical, but removing all social media apps from your phone, or at least hiding them. There are a couple, Instagram, Facebook, that I still have on my phone, but they're hidden from the screen. I've got to type them in. I've got to search for them. They are not right there screaming at me. And all notifications are turned off. It's a very simple thing, but you do it once. You spend 5 minutes deleting, hiding those, and all of a sudden, I had to do this also with my crypto accounts because I found I was checking them 7 to 8 times a day. Just be honest with yourself. See where you're actually spending your time. And again, I didn't erase my crypto accounts. I just simply hid them. And I found, okay, now I'm only checking them, once every couple days, which is a lot better and is great on your nerves. not learning how to lift weights. And to be fully transparent, this was really bad for me because I was a military man. I was getting paid to actually take care of myself. In fact, it was expected. We had fitness tests, so it was something every lunch break. You were expected to disappear for an hour and go take care of your body. And I identified as a runner. So yes, I would go for jogs and I could do my pull-ups, I could do my crunches. But when it comes down to lifting weights, nah, I ignored it. I thought, that's not my thing. Here's the thing. I was surrounded by people with tons of knowledge, and I wasted the opportunity to be able to glean some of that knowledge and build up habits which would have served me the rest of my life. Now, of course, it's not too late, but what I'm saying here in this video is I really wish I would have built the habits sooner, because now I'm still trying to relearn things. It's difficult. I still want to default to going for a jog when resistance training is such a great way to stay in shape, especially as you age, as you get into your 40s, 50s, and 60s. This next one I stole from Piscajo over at Reddit, and he calls this the triple 30. For me, the triple 30 works wonders. Every day I spend 30 minutes cleaning chores, 30 minutes exercising, and 30 minutes on self-improvement. I get home from work, knock out the triple 30 in an hour and a half, and man, the sloth after that feels so good and so earned. What's 1.5 hours? Nothing in your day. Now, if you're thinking that's a bit too much, okay, dial it back. I know for me, I simply play a song on Alexa, maybe Kate Bush's, running up that hill, and I try to clean up and pick up as much as I can in that 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I usually throw on another song, another 80s, The Flame by Cheap Trick. Amazing song. But I'm listening to that stuff, and it just, I enjoy myself doing something that's useful in the family. When it comes to running, I go out there. It's something that I choose to do because I love running. I've ran since a kid. I was in track and cross country, and throwing in my headphones, listening to music really helps. And when it comes to self-development, for me, it doesn't need to be full on reading a book. Sometimes I'm just listening to a book or spending time with my wife having coffee. Seriously, gents, you could make this the triple 3. 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, less than 10 minutes. Just do one push-up. I had a friend that started doing this. He's like, I'm going to keep doing a few more. That's a lot more than doing nothing. But the thing is, once you get started, you find that you're going to keep going. And guys, that's the key, is to get started. Really quick, I want to share with you some footage of my son at a track meet. They're getting set, ready, and boom, they're off. Come on, Sash, good start. Yeah, go, go, go. Oh, come on, Sash, faster, faster. Come on, you can do it. Come on, Sasha. Come on, let's do. Oh, come on, Sash. Yes. Oh. Now, gents, I'm a competitive guy, and there was a time that if I didn't get first, if I didn't get the place that I thought I deserved, it just really put me into a funk. Having a son, though, especially one that competes in an ultra-competitive race, the 100-meter dash, I've had to come to terms and help him understand winning isn't everything. Specifically, the point I want to make, and the one I wish I would have taken to heart a lot sooner, is that it's about preparation. It's about the work that you do before the race. You have very little control over your competition, almost no control over how your body is going to react to the training, but it's about you putting in the effort. It's about you growing as a person. The way I've tried to tell my son is I love you and you've already won, because I see the way that he trains, that he puts in. And unfortunately, my son has suffered injuries. He's had setbacks. He's had a number of things that just simply haven't gone his way. A back injury that really took him out of training, out of being able to run at his full speed. At the same time, I look at, the effort he puts into it. And to me, that's what matters, especially in life. Because you guys know life is not one race. Life is a series of races. It's showing up every day and putting in the best effort, doing what you can with what you were given. The fact 10 months out that he's already training, working, trying to get into the right mindset and preparing himself, this is the type of training that is going to help propel him to success in life. Now, speaking of mindset, the next life lesson, and this one I'm dead serious on because it's so dangerous and it's something that no one really seems to talk about. And that is, as men, it seems like a negative mental mindset can take a hold of us and just ruin our lives. It can ruin a relationship. It can lead to us doing something permanent and stupid. I'm talking about suicide. I know more Marines that have killed themselves than have died, it seems like, from all other causes. These are people that I served with. These are people that I'd be on a deployment. I had people kill themselves under my command on a deployment. And it's something that, you have to live with. And I don't know why. I don't even pretend to understand why people do this. But I'm saying, if you are ever considering this, if you're ever facing this demon, that you need to get help. You need to reach out. You're not weak. When you ask for help, that sends a signal to the world. You are not giving up. Don't give up on others. Don't give up on yourself. And be careful of those voices in your head that, if someone were to tell you to jump off a cliff, would you do it? Probably not. And those voices, don't listen to them. Get outside of this, get help, and just be very careful of that negative mental mindset that can sometimes take a hold of us. And on a more positive note, let's talk about how you can leverage the power of death, knowing that it's going to happen, to lead a more positive life. Because guess what? When you realize that you only have so much time, maybe 50 years, maybe 20 years, who knows, you could die tomorrow. And if you were to die tomorrow, what action would you take today? Who would you call to let them know that you love them? Why not call them today? If you do one thing, get on that phone, send somebody a text, let your brother know that you care about him, let your mom know that she is everything, let your wife know, let your girlfriend know that you care about them, let your son know that everything he does, even though you don't always approve of it, is just you love him no matter what. You can send out these messages, and guess what? The person receiving it feels great. You sending it out, that's what's most important. You feel great, because when you realize you've got very little time on this planet, you can measure it by hours, by days. All of a sudden, you can cut off the crap and you can focus in on what truly matters. You going after your goals, you going after your dreams, you having an impact, you going after what truly matters. You can take nothing else from this video, guys. Take that. Go out there and live your life like it's your last. Life is limited. And that I am just so grateful, so happy for this life and for the time I have left, and for, you guys watching these videos and interacting. So gents, if you enjoyed today's video, let me know. Smash the like button. I really appreciate when you guys interact with these videos. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this video. And if you want to watch another video in which I talk about lessons learned in the Marine Corps, guys, check it out right here. I made this a while back. It is a good one, a solid video talking about my Marine Corps. And again, guys, let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. I appreciate you. Take care.